Good afternoon, everyone. Or good evening. I keep saying good afternoon. I must be living in another world. We're going to tune in. We're going to tune in to Besties, to our show, and see what is going on. She keeps calling me, and I'm in the live. She must not see me.
Oh, okay, you're on. I just tried to call you. Sorry for the wait, guys.
Bestie!
Bestie.
I kept saying, I was like, she's calling me and I'm logging on. Like, no, stop.
You know what? I'm glad you were able to log on, but unfortunately, I can't see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, wow.
When that happens, I don't want to jinx it and us log out and try to log back in because we finally connected. Remember last time we couldn't even connect? So,
Right.
I think it'll be fine. I think we should just roll with the punches and just keep it pushing because I don't want us to not link. We finally linked.
Right.
We couldn't even link last time.
At
Hello,
all.
sunshine. Well, it's nighttime over here, but hello, sunshine. Anywhere you go, it's sunshine. So you want to keep it how it is, bestie? Because I don't want to jinx them.
Yes, this is fine. This is completely fine.
Okay. All right, so everybody, you are now tuned in to another episode of Cards and Conversations, where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. If it's your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I'm actually Anya, an intuitive alchemist and energy reader. And I'm just here to help y'all heal. And we're healing with humor because laughter is the best medicine. Be talk.
I am B, the one and only, I am what I am. And I say that because Spirit uses me in different ways, which tonight you will kind of see in a different way. But yes, so and I am known as Creative Energy as my handle on Instagram, but I also have a YouTube channel called Healing Room Tarot, where you can also find our cards or conversations recordings and also the readings that I do as well.
Mm-hmm. And if I can, I'm gonna drop that in the link or I'll drop that in the comments. If you can be, go ahead and do that. If not, I'm gonna drop it, but I just want to make sure that I have it spelled correctly because I know that you spell creative energy with an I and not an E. So if you get a chance, if you have access to the comments, go ahead and drop it. And again, I cannot see you, so it's gonna be hard for me to not interrupt you because I can't see when you're finishing a sentence, which sucks. But we'll just go off of our energy.
Yes.
So if you guys peep the title, we are discussing. I'm sorry. Relationship roles and expectations tonight. Are you conventional or unconventional? This is what we're discussing tonight. So we're going to start off as per usual with doing our tarot reading, and then we'll go right into our conversation.
And
did you want to say anything, or B?
Yes. So that is the thing for tonight. I'm not pulling cards per se.
Oh,
I'm not pulling cards.
Okay, you want to just dive right in?
Dive right in because Spirit said, but I will say this. Spirit to ask me not to pull cards, but I did have the message to tell everybody that tonight's messages or the conversation surrounding tonight's message is around the Ace of Swords, meaning you have to enlighten your mind with whatever is coming out because it's for you. You have to take in, you have to have different perspectives. You have to sit with yourself and understand where or what Spirit is saying the direction that you need to take for your relationship. So that is the overall energy. I literally saw the Ace of Swords.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? Basically, in layman's terms, you got to elevate your mind, Craig. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Elevate that mind, and the rest will follow.
The rest will follow.
Ooh, just spilled all my water. Okay. The spirit is just like, if you don't hurry to get this message out. All right. So, as I said, we're talking about traditional and non-traditional roles and expectations in relationships. And we want to get some feedback from you guys after we lay all the cards out as far as the conversation, not actual cards. And then we'll leave a question for you guys to answer after we've given our perspective on it. So are you guys traditional or non-traditional? Now, me personally, I don't necessarily support the current westernized concept of marriage. Just me personally. I think that marriage transcends a mere document or public declaration. Okay, when two souls merge, it goes beyond the sharing of last names. And you guys have to remember, we're ancient beings. This is not our first rodeo. So a lot of people that are just not getting married for the first time in this lifetime have been married in other lifetimes. And this is the reason why we have deja vu. Things feel familiar. People are familiar because we've experienced them before. We've experienced these things before. And this is where deja vu comes from. Anyone can enter into a physical marriage. But like I said, when two souls unite, it's like none other, basically. Okay, relationships are written. It was written, like Nas said. So everything that you are experiencing with your current partner or that you have experienced in the past, it was written. It was already written for you to experience it, for you to gain knowledge from it, and for you to either clear up your bloodline or for you to create better decisions moving forward. Okay?
Exactly.
What else? I really feel like, and this may rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I really feel like the United States has used its duplicitous power to create a system that was designed to fail. 50% of marriages end in divorce. These are facts. These are statistics. And I really feel like it's due to unrealistic expectations. People trying to keep up with the Joneses. People trying to emulate marriages that they see, maybe on the gram, maybe on television. And that is not necessarily what's going to work for everyone. Marriage is not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. It's not something that everyone can do. Not everybody is meant to be married. Some people were put on earth to live out their soul's purpose and to do it dolo, okay? But for the people that are entering into a union, it's not a one-size-fits-all. And that's why I feel like if I were ever to get married again, I would want to write the vows for the priest, preacher, whoever is marrying us, because I don't feel like everything that are the same cookie cutter words that are said for every marriage is going to work for me and mine. I feel like I want to basically redefine my union. Now, do I believe in marriage? Yes, I do believe in marriage, but I'm not so for, like I said, like the westernized concept of marriage. Okay. Like, I believe that you need to do what works for you. And I believe that when you allow the government to dictate what you can and cannot do, what you should and should not do, it's a recipe for disaster. And I've never been one to color inside the lines. I've always been a rebel, going against the grain. And I just, like I said, I would want to redefine the whole concept to fit what works for my union.
Now, explain to everyone Explain to everyone what you mean by there's certain things that the government, kind of control you so that they can get a better understanding or a clear understanding as to where you're coming from.
Okay, so for instance, I don't understand. Now, this is something I do not practice, just an FYI, before I say this. Something I do not practice, but I do respect it. Polygyny. I don't understand why that's against the law. Who is that harming? Who is it hurting? If anything, it's benefiting people. So I don't understand why the westernized concept is against polygyny. That I don't understand. Now, I don't practice it, but I don't understand why that's illegal. So that's, something that I can't wrap my brain around. And because I'm so into astrology and I understand energies, a lot of people on this earth were not meant to be with just one person. Now, a lot of people want to be with one person, but there are others that cannot be with just one person. It's not in them. Okay, they have to have multiple people. They have to be around multiple energies. So that will go against, that wouldn't work for them, the current westernized concept of marriage. And I feel like that would limit them because they would get married and then they would cheat because they weren't meant to be with just one person. So that's why I said I don't agree with it, because it doesn't work for everyone. It's not a one size fits all. I think everyone has a different story, has a different path, has a different purpose. And so I don't feel like the rules and regulations of the westernized concept of marriage should apply to everyone, because it can't apply to everyone. It can't possibly apply to everyone.
Right.
Everyone can't follow those rules. Everyone wasn't meant to follow those rules.
Exactly.
So that's why I say that. Did that answer, or was I talking just like general?
No. It was you answered the question, because because when you first brought it up, I wanted people to understand where you were coming from, and directly, in case they were wondering. But my answer to that is, well, obviously, I feel the same way in certain aspects, right? Because just think about it. It's only been a few years now that gay marriage has been illegal, has become legal in the United States. And look how many couples throughout history were same-sex couples, and look how many of them took care of the communities, and they and ran industries. And when I say ran industries, I'm talking about schools, head of businesses. They were the top uh, peers in society, right? The whole 1920s, rolling 20s Black movement, Renaissance for Black history was led by a bunch of people in the LGBTQ plus communities who could not get married, but understood that they were going to share their love regardless, right? And so when you think about it, when you can look at somebody and said, even without the institution of marriage, I dedicate my life to you. That is what marriage should all be about, is dedicating one's life to each other. We shouldn't even be to the point. I just had a conversation with someone, and they were talking about, making the other person happy. And I said, no, 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 no. Relationships are not about making each other happy. You're adding to the happiness, but you're not making them happy. You should be happy by yourself. If you are not happy by yourself, then all you're going to do is add whatever you got going on to that person, and you're going to drag them down to your level. And you're going to be two miserable people.
Great point. And I'm going to build off of that. That's a great point. And then you have to go through the arduous task of separating finances, custody battles, this, that, and the third. And who wants to go through all of that when you knew that, or maybe you didn't know, but because of these unrealistic expectations, now you got to go through all of these, separating of finances. Hi, Rosa. And, trying to figure out who's getting who on what day. because you entered into a union that may not have been the best fit for you, but because it's a one size fits all, you try to force it to fit.
Right.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Mm-hmm. Listen, and because I was going to already talk about centering yourself, because that's why I tell people, like a lot of people think I'm joking, but I said half of the problems that we have in America are mental health problems, whether we know it or not, whether we recognize it or not. That's why. Why else do you think that mental health has been put on the back burner? How is it that you can say that we have to live healthy lives and make sure that your body's right? We have doctors for your body, but we don't work with the muscle that controls all the other muscles, And when you get yourself centered and when you go to therapy and you get yourself centered and you align yourself with the world, you align yourself with earth, you align yourself with spirit, you have to recognize that spirit acts as one entity, right? That yes, there are several different spirits and spiritualness within the world, but that's all to bring you to the main spirit. And that main spirit is all about being one and becoming one. That's why whenever you find your person, like truly find your person, there is this connection between you two. Like there's a familiarity because you have already shared, as Ashley stated earlier, that oneness. You have already shared that. So it's just like, oh, and it doesn't matter when you find each other. I'm sorry, I'm now hearing all my life I pray for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. And it's just like your spirit is literally leaping for joy because it's just like, I finally found you. Do you know how many uh, people I had to go through? Do you know how much hell I had to go through to get to you? And that's why when you connect, some people get married instantly, and people are like, y'all didn't do the proper channels. And I asked this person that, I said, what are the proper channels? Because the proper channels is not going to work for everybody.
The whole like, okay, a one size fits all. It doesn't apply to everyone.
It doesn't apply.
There's no such thing as love at first sight.
Exactly.
So why do you have to go through, oh, let's date a couple years? Like, what is this? Like, it's not a one size fits all type situation.
Exactly. And I said the only reason, and if we think about it, yes, and there's a lot of feminists who brought up the fact that marriage was a sort was a property thing. It was, I'm going to trade off my daughter to you to give you riches. I'm going to trade off. We're going to have our families are going to unite by our children, and we're going to become a powerful force that way. Marriage was looked as a transaction, and it wasn't necessarily based upon love. And so now when people are marrying for love and true relationship, it becomes a little difficult because that stem of having the, as they say, the American dream, as they say here in America, is stemming off of those things. It's stemming off of contracts and not based off of love.
Exactly. Which is spelled, by the way. A contract is just a spell because it's a
binding. Exactly.
Incantations, a series of incantations that you recite, which are spells. But go ahead.
Yep. And then I was even going to bring up the fact. So how many people out there watch Bridgerton? That's my favorite show. One of my favorite shows.
I've been meaning to watch that. I haven't caught not one episode, but I've been meaning to watch that because I hear it's phenomenal.
It is very phenomenal. I am going to talk in a quick English accent just for a very short moment there. And I want you to know that in Bridgerton, it shows you the different aspects of marriage. It shows you the different aspects of what the women were thinking, what the men were thinking. And it shows you how the interconnectedness of society was based upon who are you marrying. The whole show is based off of marriage. So if you haven't caught an episode, Watch it. It is hilarious. It is hilarious, but there is some historical factors to it. There is that, okay, now I'm starting to see the different aspects of marriage and relationship though. And that's what I really like about it. And also shows you how it shows you your twin flame energy. It shows you how you and your twin flame were right there at each other, and y'all went separate ways because one person wasn't woke and they left. The show's name is Bridgerton. It's on Netflix. Yep. And so it talks about the society of its time. However, if you fast forward it to today, not much has changed. And it's like, how can you're welcome. How can you, and I say this, hold on, and what I'm about to say, I say this about America in general. How is it in the year of our lives, 2024, we're still going by a document that was written in 1776 that has not been updated?
Thank you. Somebody said it.
We
said it. It's, B is not a one size fits all, and it hasn't even been amended, let alone updated. Like they haven't even amended it.
They haven't
at
amended.
Least,
think how many laws.
Take something away. They have nothing. Like it's been the same.
Think about how many. Right. Think about how many times your phone has gone through an update. Think about how many medical books have gone through an update that says we can no longer do this practice. We need to update it. Think about everything in your life that has an update. Even when you go say, oh, I think I'm going to switch it up and cut my hair, that's an update for you, right? And so that form of thinking is the same thing that's happening in marriage. It's like that same principle is, if you need to get married, and like Ashley stated, not everybody is meant to get married, and not everybody is meant to have that dream. I have a friend, she's married, and she had to have emergency hysterectomy, and she said, don't worry about me because I never wanted kids. And I struck, and I was like, oh wow, like I never knew that. And she was like, yeah. She said, it's nothing against kids. She said, I just never saw myself with kids. I saw myself married, yes, but children, no. And it's like and people take that. I will say it's not just people, but a lot of people take Genesis very seriously when they say, oh, well, God wants you to get married because he wants you to be fruitful and multiply. Well, to pop that bubble, being fruitful in multiplication does not necessarily equate children. It also means industry. And if you think about marriage,
birthing a business, birthing an idea.
Exactly.
Okay? But being an auntie to a village,
birthing a movement. Birthing a movement. Like, think about it. How, like, your significant other is supposed to be your partner. Your partner in what? What is that thing what is that desire? What is that idea that has been floating in your mind for years? And you're saying, one day I'm going to do it. One day I'm going to do it.
Your baby.
Right. And then you meet somebody and they too have that same dream or something that aligns perfectly with that dream to get it off the ground. Now, I'm not going to say that's necessarily the person you're going to marry or spend the rest of your life with. However, that is a relationship. And so now you're being fruitful and you're multiplying. And even if that's not your person, you're going to meet your person doing that because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's going to attract who's supposed to be in your life.
Boom. And I want to go back to the original question because let this sink in again, people. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Let that sink in. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm say it again until I'm blue in the face. It's due to unrealistic expectations. You are expected to marry by a certain age. You are expected to have children by a certain time frame. You are expected to do this, that, and the third as a husband, this, that, and the third as a wife, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. I'm not following a syllabus that 50 million other people are following. It's impossible. It's impossible. And that's not my path. We all have different journeys. We all have different routes to take. So how is it I have to take the same route as these 20 million people? It's ludicrous. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. And that's why I say it's due to unrealistic expectations. It's not due to incompatibility. Okay, it's not due to, maybe it's due to finances. Okay, maybe infidelity, but 50%, that's half of the people that are getting married. Like, give me something. Make it make sense.
Yep. And
that's half of the population is getting married.
Yep. And me, I talk all the time about the different things of going through marriage. And I know we have a follower. Well, actually, all of us, and now, like, not putting our business out there, Ash, but me and Ashley, we have been married before. Okay. We have been married before, and we've had to split away. But I will say this: in splitting away, we learned something about ourselves. So a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I get married. It didn't work out. I'm not doing it again." No, you're giving up on love, and you're giving up on yourself, because what you're saying is that I cannot grow from this state. So what you're already telling yourself is that I'm going to just limit myself to what I experienced right here during marriage. No, think about, what did you learn about that marriage, in that marriage? What insight do you have now that you can carry forward to say, okay, I know that this will not work for me, and I know that this will. So sometimes people can be your training grounds for your true marriage. And that's okay. That is okay. We go through trials and tribulations to build us up, not to knock us down. Yes, we may be broken down and to be built back up, but I call that phoenix energy. If y'all saw my last reading, like that, I did a phoenix reading. Y'all got to check that out. But I'm telling you, it's something about understanding the true value and the true meaning of a phoenix. The phoenix literally burns itself to death to be reborn. It means it actually goes through the process of being killed and being broken down into nothing to be built up to something even more beautiful. And that's what happens in relationships.
Scorpio energy.
Okay. And then as you was talking about redefining, what is it, not going through, I forget, it's something you said earlier, and it made me think about Janet Jackson, about how everybody told her at the age of 50 not to have a child, and she was like, I want children. I'm not married. Like, I've been married and they haven't produced a child. I want a child. This woman just turned 58 years old and she's gorgeous looking. Shout out to Janet Jackson, baby. Like, ma'am, I hope. Listen, I hope I look that. I hope
them unrealistic expectations, because those don't apply to me.
Those don't apply.
And it sure as hell didn't apply because she had a baby. So she's a prime example of someone who does not live her life through what the government says or what the media says or what social media says. Like, she lives her life the way she wants to live it, who she wants to live it with.
And truth be told, and Bestie, I don't even know if we've had this conversation, but the doctors told my mother at the age of 39 that she should abort me.
Oh, wow. We definitely did not have that conversation.
I would.
That's crazy.
Now, just imagine, from what y'all have seen on this show, just imagine if my mother had aborted me and y'all didn't get this.
That's crazy.
Right. Listening to other people. And that's another reason, and I know this is taking us in another direction, but this is why when you're getting married and when you're in tune with somebody, sometimes you need to keep that to yourself and keep the public and your family and even your friends out of it for a while until you understand what it is, until you understand where you're heading and where you're going to go and how you're going to work. Then you can tell everybody, we have decided, we're not thinking about, we have decided that we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is how we're going to live. And, come to our unionship or not, this is what it will be.
You say or not. Because think about it, Bessie, if you start getting too many people's opinions and too many people's energy and too many people's expectations, you start living your life through their eyes and through their experiences. And then you're going to find yourself like them. And it's like, where did I go wrong? Because you took in so much information. You started pouring from an empty cup. You ever just took in so much information, you don't even know what information you're taking in or where it came from. You're just taking in so much.
Exactly.
And then you just start like acting it out to where like you're literally pouring from an empty cup because it's not your energy, it's what you took in. So you're like lashing out, stuff and you're basically lashing out information that you took from someone else. So it's not even you. It's like someone else's experiences, someone else's expectations, someone else's view on how they think that this person should act.
Right.
Like you really become somebody else taking in so much information. You're not yourself.
Right. And then I do want to bring up something because as you was talking, I was reminded. So again, my background is Christianity, and that's why I speak from, right? So I was reading Mark 2:7, and in that scripture, it was talking about how the Pharisees and the Sadducees, which is basically the religious leaders of that time, was basically mocking Jesus for not following the orders. Which well, I'm a sidebar it later. And so they were saying, how can you heal somebody on this day? And he was like, should I not heal somebody that's sick? Should I let this man continue to live in pain because y'all are saying that I can't deliver somebody, and they were basically mocking him, saying, how can this man deliver somebody? He's just a human, right? It's the same thing when you say, oh, well, I don't want a minister to officiate my wedding. And your family and your friends say, oh, but your union is not going to be blessed unless you have somebody religious. Who's to say that? Who?
Right.
Because one thing that I have tried to express to people is that God operated unconventionally. So unconventionality, and that's probably not a word, but I'm gonna say it anyway, is nothing new to this earth, right?
Right.
So no matter how you are designing your unionship with someone, that is your unionship. If you said,
Right.
I just need a witness, and me and my other half are gonna color in coloring books on our stomach with a candle in between us, and that is how we're gonna get married. Baby, that's your beautiful marriage, and that's something that you're sharing within yourself, right? And
Right.
the other thing that came out of it is the aspect of you can bless your own marriage. You have it inside of you. So again, right. So the only thing that you need from per our government is witnesses that can sign to say that we have witnessed these two people who said that they're going to dedicate their lives to each other. And I know people who say, I don't even want to do that. Fine. You don't even have to do that. You don't, I mean, doing like the witnessing, I mean, but if there's some type of ceremony that you want to do it. No matter what people say.
They've made it so arduous to where like now, if you don't like do it the official way, you won't even get like some of the perks. Like remember, there was a time where if you wanted to marry someone of the same sex, you couldn't, nor could you get any of the perks that came along with being officially married. So that's why a lot of people are finding themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place because they're like, yeah, we can say that we're spiritually married. Yeah, we can just, come together, congregate, and just, blow out candles and have witnesses. But are they going to give us the same perks that they give these official couples? Because that's the whole concept that we're talking about. Like, that's why I feel like we made it an unrealistic expectation because they're like, if you don't do it our way, you can't get X, Y, Z.
But and there's things even around that, legal documents. Hospitals have it. You can have who are you gonna give? What is it? Beneficiary of your life. Your like the things that you have obtained, over the course of your lifetime. But then you can also have who can enter your hospital room, who can make the decision to pull that plug, and who can't, who can come visit you. Like there's so many things, but you do have to have those other things put into place. Like if you're gonna leave your last will and testament to your partner, and you're not legally, as determined by the United States, married, right? You can still leave them something in your will and your last testament. So yes, we do have to consider that. But and then when it comes to the children, adoption is still there. If that person is the parent and you're like, I don't want my kids to go with their natural born father or natural born mother, but I want my partner to have it, whoever that person is, make sure that they adopt those kids so that they can have legal custody, especially if that person has been in their life since a toddler, maybe even before a toddler, right? You want to make sure that you secure these things. So and yeah, you definitely want to make sure you know all of your resources.
Boom, very important. Now I want to go back to the original topic, and I want to touch on traditional and non-traditional roles. Now, how do you feel? Because traditionally, we always see the man is making the money, the man is outside of the house, the man is working. How do you feel if the roles were reversed and the woman was the one that was making the money and the woman was the one that was outside the household and the man was staying with the children? Well, do you think that that's still like equally yoked?
I think it is equally yoked, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because half of America was built off the backsides of women, on the backs of women. Think about it. Doing all any of the wars. Think of any of the wars, of World War I, II, and the Vietnam War. Who was left in America to take and run America? The women. So I say, and I was raised by a strong Black woman, and so I proudly say yes. It doesn't matter about the roles. What does matter is that that's something that you both agree to, because there are some men that may not be financially, I guess the word is anyway, financially stable, but the woman may know how to handle the finances, right? There may be some men that may his industry or his passion is being a mechanic. And we know that not all mechanics are paid equally. We know that. My dad was a mechanic. I know. So if that is that man's part and passion, and he can wake up every day and do it and still be a stay-at-home dad because he can work on the cars while the kids are asleep, let that man do that. And you go to your Fortune 500 company, because I guarantee he's going to keep your Rolls Royce from going to somebody else, and it's going to save you some money. So because
them foreign cars cost money. If something break on a foreign car, you're going to go ahead and just wait for your tax return. That's how much it's going to cost to get it fixed. Foreign cars are not cheap.
Thank you.
At all. You have to make sure that if you have a foreign car, you got a 401k or you got a side job, because foreign cars are not cheap. But I want to ask you something. Mm-hmm. Do you think that also could fall into the category of unrealistic expectations? Primarily, if a woman is the primary breadwinner and she's working and the guy is staying home, and then they have quarrels over money because in society it's expected that the man is supposed to be out there getting the bacon and the woman is supposed to cook it. So do you think that, because I happen to notice that finances is a part of people divorcing.
Yep.
It plays a factor in people divorcing finances, along with infidelity and people just not getting along, period. But finances is definitely up there at the top. So do you think that could play a part and the woman may be getting caught up. Well, society says you should be the one out there working,
and
I should be the one staying home. Do you think that, women may get caught up in what they see on TV and on the gram and stuff and think that should be their life when, again, one size is not supposed to fit all. You're supposed to do what works for you.
So I'm going to add in a concept and I'm going to answer the question. That also goes for the men who feel like they are not doing their part because they have to be the stay-at-home dad, right? They feel like they have no self-worth and they go into a depression while their woman is going to work and trying to support them, and yet they're fighting their women, because that's another concept of a, how a relationship goes south as well. Because if the man does not feel like he's doing his part, then he feels like he's a failure. No, brother, just keep going on your road to something happens for you. The minute you think positively and your faith kicks in, that door will open for you. So now I'm gonna answer the question. I don't think that money is the root, but that ego is the root. That ego is the root.
Ego.
Yep.
It's too big, it's too wide, it's too strong, it won't.
Right. And I was watching, they were talking about the different mothers on TV, and when it got to oh Lord, Tashina Arnold's character in Everybody Hates Chris. And they said that she would say this role all the time. And I never noticed it until they started playing the episodes. But she was like, I don't have to work this job if I don't want to. My husband has 2 jobs. I don't have to do this because my husband has 2 jobs, and she kept throwing that out there. And it's just like, lady, your ego is so big right now that you're acting like that you can't contribute to your family. However, if your man was to get hurt and had to get laid off of one of the jobs, then what? Who is going to bring in the income? That's why your relationships are partnerships, because baby, when I fail or when I'm not up to my 100%, I know that we're still good because you can take over as captain. And then you will stay captain until I'm able to get back in position. And that goes for no matter who you marry with. That is a true partnership, because you I'm sorry, I'm getting a whole visual right now. Okay, so in the Bible, it talks about how Moses, when the children of Israel was fighting like the giants and stuff, and how and other people, and it said they won victory because Moses had his hands up. As long as they saw his hands up, they were winning. But the minute his hands started drooping, they started failing. So the 2 of his men was like, no, we're going to make sure that you hold your hands up. The minute that your family sees that your hands is up and fighting and doing what you're supposed to do, your family's like, oh shoot, we on cloud 9, we doing this, we doing that, we got it. But the minute you start drooping your hands, your family's like, oh shoot, daddy or daddy is not in place anymore. He's feeling some type of way. What we gonna do? But if you have that partner that said, no, babe, I got you, I'm gonna tag you out and I'm gonna hold my hands for us. Baby, do you understand the type of relationship that you would have? Not only is that man's ego be stroked a little bit, it'd be like, yo, let me tell you what my girl did today. Or your man, I'm not biased, but it's gonna be like, no, let me tell you what they did for me. I was getting tired. I was getting bummed out by the troubles of this world, and they tapped me out and said, no, babe, I got it today. You take a break and get yourself together.
And see, that's where communication comes in, B, which is so important. That should be the foundation of any relationship. But I think also it's about being intentional and present and being honest about what you want in a relationship and what you expect. And I think that would save people so much time, energy, money, and tears if people were just honest. About what they bring to the table or what they can't bring to the table. Like me, I'm a realist. I'm a straight shooter. Like, There's nobody that is in the gray area trying to figure out, I don't know where I stand with Ashley. Like, you know exactly where you stand with me, because I'm going to let you know this is what it is and this is what it ain't.
Okay.
I think if people were just upfront and honest about their intentions and about what they can or cannot provide, or what they can and cannot do, I think that would save a lot of people in the long run. And I think a lot of people stay in situations maybe because they don't want to hurt the other person, or because it's an unrealistic expectation for them to just be married and to have a wife or have a husband. But you suffer in the long run, and then you stunt your growth. Because what if you could have accomplished so much more solo, living in your truth, than being in a situation where it cuts you off at the neck because you're self-sabotaging yourself and you're serving another person, basically. Because in a marriage, it takes two. So you have to basically serve each other and give each other energy for it to work. So you're stunning your growth if you follow the path just because you should do it, just because. Like, don't just because anything. Do it with intention. Be intentional with everything in your life. Be intentional with what street you're going to turn on. Be intentional with everything. Okay? Like, nothing is a joke and nothing is a coincidence. Always be intentional. Be intentional.
Now, I don't know who this is for, and I'm going to say it for this particular person. I'm going to say the name. So if you're connected to her or if you're watching, but I heard the name Tamara. You know, this is for you, but the message for you is, you know, don't beat yourself up for the things that you haven't done. It's not too late. You can still do it. And I'll say, generally speaking, for everybody, if you realize that, oh man, I've been doing something wrong, it's not too late to go fix it. It's not too late to go apologize. Hey babe, I recognize you know, I was watching a live and I recognized some things that I've been doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Go apologize. Man up, woman up. You know, or if I don't know how to say it, if you identify as non-binary or they them, so forgive me, but I don't know if you say they up or, but you know, boost it up, get your ego up, go to your partner and really talk to them about the mistakes that you made and how you wish to move forward. Which brings me to a question that I was going to ask you. Now, since we're talking about unconventionality and stuff with relationships, how do you see that in turn when it comes to infidelity in relationships?
You know, I'm going to always take it back to astrology. You don't hate me for that.
Okay.
But I'll always take it back to astrology. And that's why I said in the beginning, I don't believe that everybody is meant to be monogamous. I think that there are people out here that it's just, well, first and foremost, it's in a man's nature to hunt. It's in a man's nature to hunt multiple women, whether you want to hear that or not, ladies. It's just what it is. It's in their nature to hunt multiple women. Is it in their nature to multiple women? Maybe, maybe not. But I know it's in their nature to hunt, to pursue, to be on the prowl, to, you know, get multiple women. But I don't know if every woman realizes that. Like, you have to understand the type of man that you're with. You have to understand his traits, his characteristics, his temperaments, which can all be found in his birth chart. Book it. But once you understand a man, you'll understand how you should move with him. And if you should move with him, and if he is the right soldier to be holding you down. Because like I just posted today, some people are here to hold you down. And some folks are here to hold you down and like literally stunt your growth. So I really feel like you have to know the type of man or woman that you're rocking with. And if they were to step out on you, nobody's perfect. I don't believe everybody is supposed to walk a straight line. But I will say that when it comes to that, I think that you have to know the type of person that you're with, first and foremost, because if it's in their nature to do that, that's in their nature. So you have to decide if you're going to stick around for them to do it again. Because if that's in their nature, they're going to continue to do it. Okay?
Exactly.
But if it's an honest mistake and that's not in their nature, then communicate, have a conversation about it. But you have to know the type of person that you're dealing with, because everybody makes mistakes. And then there's people that's just in their nature to cheat. Like, it's impossible for them to be with just one person, and they're going to do it again. Okay, this is the reason why we have astrology, so we can have a front row seat and a peek at what someone's temperaments are. So that's my answer to that. Mm-hmm. I think that you need to understand, overstand, and understand the type of person that you're dealing with to know how to move.
Yep.
How to shake and move.
And I will add to what you were saying. Understanding that if that's something that you can't deal with, then that person is not for you, and you have to walk away. And it's okay to walk away.
What do we do?
We try to change people.
The collective. I'm sorry, because I don't do this. I think a lot of people try to change a person's nature. If this is how this person is, this is embedded in their DNA. This is who they are. You're not going to change them. She's not going to change them. We're not going to change them. This is who they are. So you have to decide if you want to repeatedly be cheated on, or whether you're going to just keep it pushing.
And I had to add, and this is my other thing. So I know a lot of people try to say that, well, the reason why the black man typically goes out is because of slavery. We need to stop that narrative, right? Yes. Now that did happen in slavery. I'm not saying that it did not happen, but that is not the sole reason. Think about how many kings and pharaohs in Egypt had many wives and concubines.
Thank you. A lot of our ancestors practiced polygyny, okay?
Right.
This is not my information. This is history, okay? And I don't like to hear it either, but this is just what it is. It's your choice whether you want to partake in it, or whether you want to find someone who only wants to be with one person. But this is what our ancestors practice. Our ancestors practice polygyny, okay?
Right. And even after slavery, the song goes, Papa was a rolling stone, wherever he laid his hat was his home, right? And there are some men, i.e. my grandfather, who had multiple children. Now there's some that we know and there's some that we don't know, but we're just not going to act like that this was not part of culture back then.
Right.
It was stated that my grandfather literally had 2 sets of kids where each woman had 12 children. Right. And that was known. Okay. So I mean I have some cousins out there that I don't know, and that's why I tell people.
No idea you could be walking past your cousin on the street and not even know your cousin.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, in the fact that now that's just my grandfather, but then we go into other historical matters, and then I have a large family anyway. So it's like I tell people all the time, I do have to do the cousin test whenever I'm dating, because I need to make sure that you're not related to me.
What's the cousin test? With Ancestry.com?
Baby, I need to know, as the old folks used to say, who your peoples. I need to know I need to know first and last names, maiden names, what was the extended names. I need to know all of that because I need to know. I can't do it. I'm not going to a family reunion and I see my cousin there. Baby, why is my cousin at my family reunion on my partner's side? I got questions now. Okay.
I cannot.
But
question, the even bigger question is, if you found that out and you were like 2-3 years in, would you cut it, or would you like, you know what? Well, it's third remove, don't count.
Right.
How would you handle that situation?
Right. And I see. I don't know, because it depends on how close they are with. I don't even think I can marry a cousin. Period. Once I find out you my cousin, like baby, we can't do this no more. We gonna have to. Woo! And then I'm gonna have a huge conversation with Spirit, because Spirit, why'd you set me up this way? 'Cause what are you trying to say? Okay.
No, that actually happened with Kevin Gates. He actually dated his cousin, and when he found out, he kept dating his cousin because he was like, "Well, shit, like I like you, you like me, the sex is good." But it's like once you hear that you have possibly the same blood running through your veins, does that not make you think this is not right? Because if we have a child, like it's a strong possibility of some deformities. Because when you have people of the same bloodline come together and they have children, that's where a lot of these deformities come from having
realist. I see it. Okay, listen. But I mean,
I'm serious though.
And it
happens so often. We just don't talk about it. Like
it does.
Like incest happens more than we talk about. It happens a lot. And what's even more sad is like the product of incest. There have been plenty of people that have had children from their fathers, from their first cousins, from their uncles. Like incest is not talked about enough. Right. It really isn't. It's not talked about enough.
It's not talked about enough. And then it's like, now we're gonna go back to the main topic again.
Hey, gosh.
That institution that says that, because there was a time when it was law, if you get a woman pregnant, you have to marry her. So now, what if that baby was produced by the uncle or the father? You telling me that now the father or the uncle has to
have a one size fits all, because then you're basically forcing someone to marry their attacker, to be with their attacker every single day and raise a family and not have post-traumatic stress and trauma. And come on now, the list just goes on and on. Like,
right.
A one size does not fit all for every situation. But I want to know quickly in the comments, while we're talking about this, are you guys traditional? Hey, boo. Or non-traditional in relationships? Like, how do you guys function? Are you traditional? Or are you strictly by the books? Like, I am the man, hear me roar. Or are you like, you know what? Let's do whatever works for us. Let's see what works. And if it works, okay, we'll roll with it, lean with it, rock with it. And if it doesn't, then we'll go back to the drawing board. Are you guys traditional or non-traditional in relationships? Let us know in the comments. Go ahead, B.
And who's on the fence? Because I mean, who's like, I do a little bit of this and I do a little bit of that. Like, we want to know that too. And I was just thinking, when you was just talking, all I could do was hear Brandy's song, "What About Us?" Because
you love throwbacks.
I love a throwback.
Just to like that, I'm always thinking about an old 90s song in my head. I have like a 90s song for every like topic and word and everything. Like on deck, I always have a 90s song replaying in the back of my head. Crazy.
Yeah.
I guess more whatever works for us. That's how I am.
Exactly.
That's how I am. I'm not like the type to be like, okay, well, it was written this way. We have to do it this way, or you have to see the highway. Like, I need it to work for us and us both to construct a way to make it work. I'm not with the whole what works for America, because clearly it's not working for America, because 50% of marriages are ending in divorce. So it's not working for Americans, clearly.
And I would even say that I know that a few years ago there was a lot of people. You know how when people get married, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to have the grand wedding. I want the flowers, the flower girl, and all these traditional roles." And then there were some people that said, "I'm just gonna go to the Justice of the Peace, and we're gonna have a big cookout in my backyard." Or we're gonna go to the Justice of the Peace, and then we'll do like a big dinner. Right. And those relationships lasted. So, it doesn't, like, you don't have to conform to every single thing. Just take what, as Ashley says, and I say too on my channels, take what resonates for you and leave the rest.
But Bessie, think about how many people tried to go the westernized route and have these big lavish weddings, spending up all their savings account. And then, they end up broke and can't even afford to go on their honeymoon, can't even afford to buy a house, can't even afford to care for their families because they're trying to follow the American dream. Like, what is the American dream? Because I wouldn't want to live in America right now with all this going on. Like, what exactly is the American dream? Because is that being in debt a dream? Spending all those thousands of dollars for a wedding? Like, what? Yeah, I get it. You want to have a nice gathering with friends and family and festivities and eat and congregate and come together and laugh. But come on now. When does being realistic kick in?
Yep.
When does reality kick in?
Ashley,
unless you got it like that, then that's fine. But I'm talking about living above your means because you're trying to fit inside this box.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Ashley said traditional masculine or feminine, but flexible to the relationship.
Good.
So what do you?
What do you mean, Ash?
Yeah, I was about to say what is
masculine for you? And we understand flexible because you shouldn't be too rigid with anything. But what do you mean traditional masculine? Can you elaborate?
Yes, elaborate for the good people.
Elaborate. But I feel you on that. Yeah. Like I said, I just feel like that's due to unrealistic expectations. I'm not going broke because this bozo over here spent thousands of dollars on her wedding. Okay, great for you. Great. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your wedding was the wedding of your dreams. But if I could put that money in a 401k or a bank or cryptocurrency, whatever, then that's what I'm going to do and watch it grow. Watch my money stack. That's just me.
Ashley said, "Me fix car. I mean, man fix car. Me clean kitchen."
From the Flintstone Stone Ages.
Lord. But
what you're saying is, what if you had to fix the car, and the man cleaned the kitchen? You would be down for that? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, but ironically, I was just about to bring this up because this is some of the conversations that we have in the SGL community. If you don't know what that means, that's same gender loving communities. And we talk about what are the roles, because it's expected that just because a man is feminine, that he should be the bottom, and the more masculine man is at the top. And then for the women,
hold up, I gotta spray some water. It's getting hot in here.
and then for the women,
Wait a minute now. We did this get X-rated. Hold up now. Go ahead.
But then for the women, it's more like so if she's masculine presenting, then she's going to be, as we say, the top, and the more feminine presenting is going to be the women. It's going to be like the bottom. But it's like and that's when we get into start talking about gender roles and being non-traditional as well, because a lot of people prescribe certain things for men and women. And it's like, if you fit this box here, here, and here, you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and that only.
Right.
I actually started liking the fact that there were women proposing to men, but then there was a lot of people that said, no, that's the man's job. Well, and from what I'm learning and from what I'm seeing with Spirit, is that Spirit is like, if you know that that's your person and that person is afraid to take that jump, then baby, you have all means to take control of the situation. If you're going to say, listen, Roger, we've been dating for 6 years and 7 months, baby, you my man. Right, you my man. You gonna get this. You gonna take this ring, ninja. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like see, we be having conversations like this, but it's like you know, like right, okay. And so it's just like he's really talking about, let me sweep instead. But see,
she actually said that she don't mind if a man kitchen, I don't mind. My dad was always cooking up something in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I love a man that can cook. Like, it's cool. That's okay if the man's in the kitchen.
And I remember there was a certain time where men did think that washing the dishes was a woman's job. And my mom said that, like, there's a story about my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, where my grandmother got sick with the flu and my grandfather had to do the cooking and the cleaning, and he was crying washing the dishes. And my mom asked him, well, why are you crying? He said, because I remember my mother saying that men should learn how to cook and clean as well, because if something happens to the wife, they need to be able to take care of the family. But at one point, it was thought that the men should stay out the kitchen. Okay, so if the woman went down, baby, what did you feed them kids? Cold bread and bologna? Like, think about it. Think about it.
Oink, oink, not pork. No, but that's true. Like, it makes sense to be well-rounded. If not for your wife's sake, just for your sake. Like, what if, God forbid, you get a divorce? Like, you gotta know how to cook on your own.
Exactly.
But if you can feed yourself, unless you want to be going out to eat every single day, like, it just makes sense for you to do it for yourself first, and then do it for others around you. But take care of home first. When I mean home, I mean your temple. So why wouldn't you want to know how to cook? Right. Just so you can know. Just so you can know, first and foremost, and then you get a wife. Hey, just so you know, I can, throw down in the kitchen too. I taught myself. Thank you, Ashley. Everyone needs to know how to cook, whether you're married or whether you live alone. Thank you.
Me too, realist. I can't hold you. I love me a nice bowl of cereal in a minute.
I love cereal. But it's so true, Ash. Everyone needs to know how to cook. And my dad, he was active in the kitchen. My mom, not so much. Like, she cooked, but if I had to, think back to who really threw down, it was my dad. He was always on the grill. He was always in the kitchen. Like, he threw down. So I think it makes sense just for you to just know how to cook, period. Like, whether you are a husband or whether you are a bachelor, like, it just makes sense for you to know how to cook. Yep. For your own sake.
And I know a couple who, when they got married, they cooked and prepared their own food. They did all the decorations for their own wedding, and they went out and got married. And I looked at them. I said, "Hey," and she said,
"How much money were they saving doing that, B?
Exactly.
How much were they putting back in their pocket from doing that?"
Exactly, and that's what she said. She said, "Baby," she said, "why would I go pay somebody else to do what I already know how to do? And I know how I want it." So yeah, she said, I wanted to do it myself. And I was just like, you got a point there. And it was because both of them had their different gifts and talents, and they pulled on each other and used each other. Again, that partnership for industry.
Right. That is right. This conversation could go on. Like, I'm telling you, It's so many avenues we could turn on to lead, because it's so many different things that we could talk about in regards to roles and traditional, non-traditional expectations. And that's why I say, when it comes to relationships, it's not a one size fits all. You guys are gonna hear me say that about 1,000,000 times, because it's not a one size fits all. It's do what works best for you.
Yep.
Redefine the meaning of marriage to fit your unique union, because when you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, they've already lapped you twice. Why are you trying to keep up with something that's unrealistic? Because the Joneses are unrealistic. Truly are. Half of which, believe half of what you see, because you're trying to keep up with something that's probably not even real. It's just a facade. Do what works best for you in your union.
And I will say this. There were a few people on Instagram, and I was actually glad. Hey, Kira. Actually glad that they kind of announced that, yeah, me and my partner, or me and my husband, me and my wife are going through some things, so we're separating, and they were being transparent about it. And a lot of people, I know I've heard several people say, I don't know why they put that out there. And I'm like, they put that out there for the couples that are struggling. They put that out there to let them know, like, hey, we too go through things. We too fuss and fight and argue. So yeah, we go through things. We are people. We are all human, right? We are not in our perfected bodies yet. That's when you transcend.
If you guys are familiar with a Instagram page, I believe they're called We Are Human. It's called We Are Human. It's a couple. They've been together for like a decade, probably longer than that. And they talk about like how they've been through the toxic stage, yelling and screaming, fighting, to being able to finally come together and talk to one another and not yell and scream. And it's beautiful to see a relationship evolve into something that's so pure and so healthy. And this is what we need to do just as a collective. Like, we need to find the root of the issue, which is generational trauma. Everybody has it. I haven't met one person that doesn't have generational trauma. Everyone's generation has some form of trauma. And to get to the root of that and to heal and have healthier relationships, we have to heal that. Heal what's in the subconscious mind. Remember, the subconscious mind is what's hidden. Okay? Your conscious mind are things that you know of, that you know bother you, you know make you tick. Subconscious are things that you put on the back burner that you think don't bother you anymore. So when you heal the root, you heal the subconscious mind. And this is like the number one thing I recommend for people, especially if they're trying to get into a relationship with somebody else. Like, how are you going to get into a relationship when you haven't even healed? You're going to get triggered. Your person is going to trigger you, as they should. Right. And you're not going to know how to deer in headlights. You're going to be a deer in headlights. So you need to heal. Heal that generational trauma so you can heal that subconscious mind, and so you can move forward and make better decisions in your relationship.
And I got one more thing I'm going to bring up, because I saw this meme and it made so much sense to me. And I said, that's what it is. Because me and somebody, I'll just say somebody special at this point, because we have not defined those things yet, got into a conversation. And the conversation was, I was talking about how I tend to heal people. I am what I am, right? I'm a healer. So naturally I heal people, but I had to get intentional when it came to my dating life to not try to, as we said earlier, fix people who don't, especially if they don't want to be fixed. And this person was talking, and what he said was, I'm a protector. So I'm gonna make sure that you good no matter what, no matter if we're together or not. And then I saw this meme and I said, you know what? It makes sense. The meme said that all healers, so I'm talking to my healers, all healers are meant to be with a protector. You're meant to be with. And I sat with that for a moment, and I was just like, wow, like we just had this conversation. But this is the thing that I got out of it. You have to think about healers. We are constantly giving of ourselves. We're constantly putting out. So we need that person that can protect us and cover us from whatever tried to attack us at our vulnerable moments. We need that. Right, and so if you are a protector, know that because you're constantly protecting people, you need a healer in your life to help heal those wounds, those battle wounds that you receive and you get, because that person will know how to heal you the way you need to be healed. It's not just simple as just, here, take a Tylenol and be good. No, baby, I need to give you the Tylenol of my love and pull you out of some things. And as I'm pulling you out of some things, you are holding on to me and hugging me and loving on me and protecting me from those that would try to attack me. So even in that, understand what type of person you are in a relationship. And I'm sure that there's more titles, healer and protector. But I thought about that. And if you really think about that, that's one role that I can say that goes across the board. And that's because you're either going to be a healer or you're going to be a protector. You're going to be the person that goes out and hunt, or you're going to be the one that takes care of the home. So no matter who the role belongs to, as long as you know how to balance that out, you will know how the scales will fall, or that balance beam is going to fall in your favor.
It's all about duality.
Yep.
That's all it is, duality. Having that Libra scale. The scale's always got to be balanced. You can't have too much of something and not enough of this. The scales have to always be balanced. That was a word. Mm-hmm. Let's end on that beat. That was a word right there. That definitely held some weight right there. Healers have to date protectors. We really do, because we are so vulnerable being healers. Like, we take in so much and we're sensitive to energy. Have you noticed that? Like, I can't be in crowds. I feel like it's almost like I'm being raided by the LAPD when I'm in the crowd, because I just feel like I'm taking in everybody's energy. That's why a healer needs to be with a protector.
Exactly.
They have to be with a protector. I have friends that say that when I'm on their live or whenever I'm messaging them, that they're like, you know what? Like, you just made me feel at ease. Just like being on the live, that's what healers do for each other. We also protect, you know what I'm saying? Right. Healers protect other healers, but I get what you're saying. Like, a healer needs to be with a protector, but I feel like a healer knows how to protect another healer.
Exactly.
If you get what I'm saying.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we do need to be with protectors. That's first and foremost. I just want to say also, a sidebar, my relationship compatibility readings have finally opened up. Thank you guys for reaching out. I did get everybody's DM, even though I specifically told you guys not to DM me, but I did get everybody's DM. I did get everyone's emails, and you have confirmations sent to your emails if you scheduled a reading. So thank you guys. And yeah, they're open still. I still have available slots. And when they're closed, they're closed. It is a first come, first serve. And it is in my story if you need the link to schedule your reading. So I just want to put that out there. They have officially opened. I haven't had them open for about a month, because that's how booked up I was. But they're officially open now. So see the link in my bio for more information, and/or look at my story and you'll see exactly what a relationship compatibility reading is. And if you have anything else to say, B, now is the time, but we wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and if you would like a relationship reading, go to my personal page and you can sign up to get a reading there, and and let's talk, because I know what's on my sign up page, but let's talk before you say, oh no, I can't do this. Because Spirit has been leading me to do some $5 readings. I'm just gonna be obedient, because, and I'm gonna and this is not just to pull people in, but literally this is what I was told. If somebody needs a doctor, we need to start making these things accessible to the people who needs them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
So
I have that as well.
Right. So, and my service, what out of that, I call that minimal to, and not to say that, oh, it's just anything that anybody could do. No. But compared to other things that I'm capable of, I can do that for you. So definitely don't get discouraged, or anything, or fearful. So just, hit me up. Let's talk.
And also, guys, check out our reviews. I know Tanisha left us an amazing review. I put it up on my story. I think it's still saved when you look at my past stories, as well as all the other reviews that I've had for the compatibility readings. Check out our reviews, guys. Like, let the people speak for us. Yes. I'm letting the people speak for us. I can tell you it's who I'm doing the phase, how effective it is, how beneficial it would be for you to have it, just so you know who you're dealing with, and if you guys are even meshing, if you guys are harmonizing together. But I'll let the people speak for me. I'll let the people speak. So that's also down below on past stories on my page, where you can see how the people liked it or what they didn't like about it. I post everything. So check that out. And thank you guys for an amazing show. You guys gave so much feedback. You were interactive. We appreciate that. And this was episode 15. We weren't able to complete it last week, but the Instagram gods were on our side. So we appreciate that as well. And thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode of Cards and Conversations.
Yes.
Where every episode unfolds a deck of intriguing discussions. And we are here every Tuesday, 11 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Cards and Conversations.
Yes, bye. Cards and Conversations.
Bye, guys.
And you all get my love too. Thank you for tuning in.